All right, everyone, hello, and welcome back to the channel. All right, now, so here's a video that my good friend Yogi sent me. And Yogi, thank you, my friend, for the laughter that I got after watching the video. Now, the video I found interesting because the video deals with the frauditor who we all know as the Long Island Fraudit. Long Island Fraudit, a.k.a. Sean Paul Reyes. And in the video, it is a recording that he took of a conversation that he had with Internal Affairs that he feels that an officer who was going the opposite direction, let me start from the beginning. Reyes on his way home noticed that an officer going the opposite direction after noticing, well, according to Reyes, that the officer noticed who he was, the officer made a quick U-turn and followed him to his home. And Reyes feels intimidated by that. He feels that the officer was trying to harass him. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to the words that come out of Reyes' mouth in this conversation. And listen, not trying to stick up for Internal Affairs, but I understand what the officer is trying to tell Reyes that he doesn't have any, he hasn't, in his conversation of stating that the officer made a U-turn and followed him home. And let me also mention, guys, that the recording that Reyes put out there, all it shows is that, yes, the officer made a U-turn and maybe followed him a few blocks or whatsoever. But Reyes, as we all know, likes to use, what is it called? Subliminal, I may not be pronouncing that word right, subliminal messaging, where he instills in his subscribers what he wants them to think. As I said, Reyes makes the accusations that the officers followed him home, but you do not see in this recording Reyes pulling into a driveway and the officer either even passing his driveway or not. All he shows in his recording is that the officer, yes, a few blocks of following, and then listen, that recording you can tell is a constant a loop, if you want to call it that. Okay, again, the officer might have followed him a few blocks or whatever, but as for the ideal that he is trying to put it, well, he ain't trying to, he put it in his subscriber's head, because I read the comments and it is so ridiculous. These people that are up his ass, they believe every damn thing this guy says. Okay, again, I say he did not show in his recording him pulling into his driveway and the officers either passing his driveway or whatever the case may be. Okay, so again, all he shows in a loop fashion is the officer or police vehicle following him a couple of blocks or whatever. Okay, and the officer in Internal Affairs is trying to say, how do you say that an officer, you're harassed because the officer made a U-turn and may have followed you a few blocks? Just listen to the wording. This guy is a total character. I mean, this guy is a piece of work. This guy goes to the commissioner's home. I mean, shit, he records his crimes, so we all know what I'm getting at. But this guy done harassed this Suffolk County Police Department to the point where now I could imagine he's sleeping with one eye open because of the shit he's doing. He has done, okay? And now because an officer who made... Now, that might have been true, but again, the way Internal Affairs put it, and I see it the same way. Just because an officer noticed you and made a quick Yui, all of a sudden you feel harassed. And there's some other shit that I'm gonna point out to you. This guy, I'm telling you, is a character. Let's get into the video, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Internal Affairs, Lieutenant McKeefer.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. I was given this number to schedule an appointment to submit an internal affairs complaint. I'm actually here at the headquarters, and I was told that your offices have moved.
Yeah, we're off site now. What do you mean set up an appointment? Who'd you speak to about setting up an appointment?
Well, just the front desk. They told me that I would have to call to set up an appointment.
Yeah, we don't do appointments. We do everything over the phone. What's the issue?
So I would like to submit a complaint regarding an unknown officer to me at this time. I just submitted a FOIL request for the information for this officer here at the headquarters. Are you ready to take my complaint now?
If you give me 1 second, I can do. What's the issue, though?
I'm sorry, sir?
What's the issue?
So an officer, like I said, an unknown officer driving patrol vehicle 604 on November 25th of this year, 2023, was, I had passed the officer, and he had made a U-turn to follow me. He followed me around my neighborhood all the way into the front of my house, and I believe this was done in order to harass or intimidate me. The Suffolk County Police, my name is Sean Paul Reyes, by the way, excuse me. My name is Sean Paul Reyes. The Suffolk County Police Department, especially in the 6th Precinct, know who I am, know where I live, know the kind of vehicle that I drive, and I find it very disconcerting that Suffolk County Police Department, as high as paid as they are, would find the time to just follow me around. I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear you. Breaking up.
You said as high paid as they are. One, that has nothing to do with anything. Two, did the officer stop you? Did he confront you? Did he pull you over? Did he ask for any information?
Well, okay, so I think it's only relevant because with the high salary, you should have something more productive to do than harass residents. But no, he didn't pull me over. He just followed me for several minutes in my vehicle around my neighborhood. It wasn't a coincidence. It's all on video. I can send you over the video so you could take a look. He sees my car, he makes a U-turn, and then follows me throughout my neighborhood and all the way up into my house. And like I said, I know the Suffolk County Police Department, especially the 6th Precinct, because the 6th Precinct officer knows my vehicle, knows where I live, unfortunately, and I believe that this
Hold on. You said you don't know who the officer is. There's over 200 people that work in the 6th Precinct, but you don't know who he is, but you think he knows where you live and your vehicle? What are you basing that on?
And this is where Reyes should have told the officer from Internal Affairs that I am basing this on the facts that I've been harassing this police department now for quite some time now on social media. I've belittled the police commissioner by going to his home and telling his wife that he was having an affair, and that to this day I am still making accusations that I cannot physically back up. I am just going by hearsay and so on. So, I mean, hey, listen, I'm just out here trying to make a living on YouTube. I got thousands of people that send me money because they're stupid and believe everything I say. So, that's the facts I'm basing it on. Oh!
You don't know who the officer is. There's over 200 people that work in the 6th Precinct, but you don't know who he is, but you think he knows where you live and your vehicle? What are you basing that on?
Well, I'm basing that because I've had a lot of interactions with Suffolk County Police Department before, and every officer that I've ever come in contact with addresses me by name. I film police and I hold them accountable. I've dealt with internal affairs before. I don't think I've dealt with you. What was your name again, Lieutenant?
Lieutenant McKeefer.
Lieutenant McCreefy. I don't think I've ever dealt with you specifically, but I've dealt with internal affairs. Internal affairs investigations have been opened based on my videos, just without me even making a complaint. Like I said, it's pretty probable.
Your videos have interaction or some sort of conversation or interaction. This, you're saying an officer followed you. You've offered no corroborating evidence of that.
I said it's all recorded.
We're on the roads, so you have to understand, if an officer sees you, whether he knows you or not, making you turn and following a vehicle based on observing an infraction or pretext, it's all within bounds. You understand that, right? I mean, I know you're an expert on the Constitution, so
I'm not.
Probably be familiar with
Well, I'm no expert, but I understand that there was nothing that this officer did that was unlawful. That's not my argument. My argument is that the officer did it in an effort to intimidate and harass me, which again might not be unlawful, but again, as a resident and a taxpayer of Suffolk County, I have it on video. There's no reason for him to be following me. If there was a reason for him to be following me, it would be because I committed a traffic infraction, like you just stated. Obviously, I did not.
But we don't have to address every traffic infraction. That's the thing. We have discretion, which again, I'm sure you're aware of. We have discretion.
I would love to hear from the, and that's why I would love to hear from the officer to hear why he was following me. If it wasn't for,
But you have no right to that. That's the thing.
How do I have no right to an officer that I pay, that's following me around my neighborhood?
You don't pay.
We do.
You don't pay our salaries. No,
we do. Sir, do you pay? No. That's not from 1915, sir. Do you pay property taxes here in Suffolk County?
That's none of your business.
Okay, it's none of my business. So if you don't pay property taxes, then you wouldn't see the Suffolk County when you're paying your property taxes at the end of the year. There's at least for me, there's a $4,000 bill for the Suffolk County Police Department. So that is in reality that we're paying for the Suffolk County Police Department. But again, I think that's important to note that you're wrong, that we do pay.
So again, regardless how you feel about that, an officer is under no obligation to explain why he's following or not following a vehicle. If he observes an infraction, we're not obligated to acknowledge that infraction or enforce that infraction. There's no...
But there was no infraction committed. It's all on video. There was no infraction committed.
So again, we can follow vehicles based on
again, Lieutenant. I'm not saying you can follow whoever you'd like. I'm sure you could.
So what's the complaint? You think it's harassment, but it's not. You haven't identified any sort of harassment or intimidation.
Well, following somebody. If I were to follow somebody in my car and they felt harassed or intimidated, that would in fact be stalking. So again,
no, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it's repetitive behavior.
You have to understand. If you could identify an interaction, if somebody yells something at you or curses at you, tries to cut you off or brake checks you or something, there's an argument to be made for a stalking thing, like you mentioned, but you haven't identified any of that. Well,
sir, I've received many anonymous threats from Proton email addresses that I know law enforcement officers use.
All right, so let me stop the video here, and I'm hoping that most of you, if not all of you, just picked up on what came out of Reyes' mouth, that he feels harassed, threatened. He just doesn't like the idea that he has received many emails with threats. He feels scared. Now, think about that, guys. Think about it. This comes from an individual who goes to government locations to screw with people so that he can make a good chunk of money on social media. And when shit doesn't go his way, okay, an public employee or law enforcement, they fight back and he just doesn't like it. What does he do, guys? He puts their information, splatters their information on the screen with the phone number, okay, email and so on, so that his subscribers can redress, okay? And we all know what that means. Hey, here's their name, phone number, email, and so on. Go harass them. Go threaten them. Because I'm sure Reyes is well aware of his subscribers' mentality. They hate government. They hate law enforcement. I think it's safe to say that all of these frauditors, they use their subscribers as a tool to get back at the public employee or law enforcement officer that just doesn't bow down to them. But yet, he receives emails of a threat. All of a sudden, he don't like it. He feels threatened. He feels scared. Well, shit. Now you know how these people that you go splatter their shit out there for social media, okay, just to make a quick buck, and you don't give a damn about their feelings and so on, right? Oh.
Well, sir, I've received many anonymous threats from Proton email addresses that I know law enforcement officers use. Again, I can't specifically say that it was a law enforcement officer who's made threats to me. I am dealing with some pretty scary elements. And, you know, you guys did just come to my house with the Nassau County Police Department, you know, that was following me around too. Again, I just don't appreciate, and like I said, no matter what your thoughts are, I still would like to. I get you're trying to play defense here as internal affairs.
It's not a matter of defense. It's not a matter of defense. You have to understand that. I have no stake in the game. It's not a defense, and you haven't identified any sort of harassment or intimidation.
It's following somebody is harassing and intimidating them when you know who they are.
I understand you're huge on public spaces, right? Public libraries, post offices. You're huge on identifying public spaces.
Right.
So you'd understand that the roadway is a public space, which we have free reign over. You didn't identify him as tailgating you, as pulling you over, as harassing you, as stopping you, or yelling at you. There's no harassment there.
Well, again, I feel
it could be your grandmother, it could be my grandmother, it could be a random person on the street. You haven't identified one iota of harassment.
Well, sir, when law enforcement, law enforcement know who I am, especially the Suffolk County Police Department.
You're speaking collectively.
Yeah.
You have no idea who this officer is.
Right, and I will know because I did a FOIA request for that information and any radio information, whatever. I'll do my own side investigation. I obviously know that you're not going to do.
You will.
Yeah, and I'm not, I'm not going to say that. All I'm saying, sir, is that I need you to just file a complaint for me.
I will gladly file a complaint if you can identify a complaint.
My complaint is that the Suffolk County Police Department is. I want it noted, and I want to make a complaint. Look, sir, I've dealt with it. I've dealt with internal affairs in this department. I've dealt with them across the country. I understand that your agency, internal affairs, your division is meant to defend officers. I understand that I understand that perfectly, right? There was just an article that came out, a few months ago about a cover-up within the Suffolk County Police Internal Affairs Agency. I'm sure you've seen that story. So again, I have no doubt that the Suffolk County Police Department Internal Affairs Division covers things up. It's proven at this point. But the point is that I believe that I was harassed and followed, because I know I was followed, and I think it was done in a way to be intimidating towards me and to follow me around my home and to follow me in my car. It's all on video. Like I said, if you'd like to see the video, I can share that information with you. But again, I'm not saying this person had ill motives. That's what I believe, and I think that an investigation should be done. What if there was somebody I filed a complaint against?
Mr. Reyes, we don't investigate based on belief. We investigate based on tangible allegation, a tangible.
Yeah, there's video of this person. There's video of this vehicle following me around. It might not be unlawful per se, but again, based on who I am, if it was
it's not misconduct. That's the thing. We don't just investigate unlawful activity. We investigate misconduct. You haven't identified a snippet of misconduct either. That's what
to use police resources to intimidate a resident is not misconduct.
All right, so let me jump back in here real quick, whereas I found it funny again. Okay, find it funny that Reyes has the audacity to bitch and moan about resources being wasted. Okay, the officer spun around, followed him a few blocks. Resources were wasted by that. Okay, now I don't see that as wasted resources. The patrol vehicle is patrolling. Okay, if anything happens, they radioed and they immediately go to the location. So them patrolling the neighborhood, to me, is not wasted resources. Now, again, I say he's bitching and moaning about wasted resources. This comes from an individual who goes to government locations intentionally to cause suspicion. Okay, walks around the entire building, and when asked who he is and what's he up to, I can't tell you that, or it'll compromise my story and so on. Think about that one, okay? Okay, with all the shit that's going on right now, with the drama that's going on in these third world countries or whatever, and we know we have a lot of those individuals here in our country. Okay, that shit is spreading. That drama over there is spreading over here. So you could understand why these government locations are on high alert with all the shit that's going. Listen to the news, man. I listen to the news every day. Mass shootings and so on. There's so much hatred towards our government. You got people that just, I don't know, they snap, and one day they go to a government location to do some craziness, and they prey on that shit. They exploit. what? Frauditors exploit that shit to their advantage, okay? And then want to cry victim when police are called on them. That, to me, is wasted resources. Yet here he is bitching about an officer who was patrolling the area, even if he did happen to realize who he is and followed him a few blocks. I don't see that as wasted resources. I don't say that because I dislike Reyes. I say it because, damn it, the officer's doing a job. He's patrolling the neighborhood. But yet you're going to bitch about wasting resources when you're the first one to waste stupid amount of money on stupidity, police being called on you because of the shit you do? Oh!
You haven't identified a bit of intimidation.
Well, again, I think that would come through an investigation, Lieutenant. Right? Because you don't know who this officer is either. He could have a vendetta against me. It could have been an officer I filed a complaint against in the past. It could have been. It can be a myriad of different reasons. He could be trying to intimidate me and coming by my house in order to, intimidate. Or could have been a coincidence. Who knows? It doesn't look like one to me.
Any car that we follow, you think we should take? Because obviously there's hundreds of cops on the street right now, right?
Sure.
And there's
yeah.
Tens of thousands of vehicles driving around Suffolk County right now, right? So any Suffolk County police car that's behind a resident of Suffolk County, should they all call and complain that there's a police car following them? Would that be
if a police
would that be rational?
If those okay, I answer your question. If that person, man or woman, had an issue with the Suffolk County Police Department in the past or presently, they had an issue where they believed the Suffolk County Police Department was corrupt and doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and they had an issue, and then this agency starts following them around their home, not just going behind me for a second. This is making a whole U-turn just to follow me, making all the turns that I make with me
all the time.
Okay, but this is making all the but it's more than just making a U-turn and getting behind me, Lieutenant. It's making.
We follow cars all the time.
Oh,
follow cars all the time. You say there was no infraction,
but again.
That's based on what you tell me.
Right, and I'm sure the video.
I do have no reason to disbelieve you, but why should I believe you?
So there's a video, but like I said, and you could see me clearly stop.
What does the video show? Does it show you maintaining your lane to an exact degree? Does it show the depth of the tread of your tires? Does it show
irrelevant, Lieutenant. Again, like I said, if somebody had
those are infractions.
If that individual, if that officer would have pulled me over for an infraction, then we wouldn't be needing this conversation. We would have known what was the reason. Right, but we don't
have to enforce all infractions. That's the thing. If we observe an infraction, we can follow based on that infraction,
right,
and then have the discretion to either enforce it or choose not to, and go about it.
You would agree that we don't know if there was an infraction right now? You would agree with that, Lieutenant?
No, you were the one telling me that there was no infraction.
Well, because I know there's no infraction because I know how I was driving, Lieutenant. But I could understand why you don't know for a fact if there was any infraction or not. But like I said, I think that would come with an investigation. Well, I understand that you think I understand that you think this investigation is silly, Lieutenant, and I get where you're coming. I get what you're trying to put down right here. But all I'm saying is that to me, listen, but you're trying to say that there was no misconduct, there was nothing going on. But what I'm trying to say is, okay, but what I'm saying is it's concerning to me as a taxpayer who's had issues with the Suffolk County Police Department in the past, who has reported on corruption in your very office in the past. Proven corruption, sir, and for a long. I've reported on proven corruption inside of the internal affairs investigation.
Well, I mean, I've seen news reports. I mean, I've seen your Instagram stuff. I don't think that's published. Is that really reported?
Well, whatever case you want to make, sir. It's irrelevant. Again,
you're the reporter, so you said reported on.
Yeah.
Have you reported on?
So when you I'll explain that to you, Lieutenant. When you disseminate public information to the public, that's reporting, sir. So when I'm disseminating public information, whether it's on Instagram, as you might say, or YouTube or any other public outlet, that's still reporting, sir. Well, again, it's still irrelevant. It's still
reporters out there got it.
Sure, yeah, of course. It's called the First Amendment, sir. We have freedom of press in this country.
No, I got it. I remember. You're the expert on the Constitution. So do me a favor. Send me the video.
You're not being cooperative with me at all. You're trying to.
All right, so this is the last time for me jumping in the video, whereas, again, Reyes put it in his subscriber's head that he felt intimidated and harassed that an officer driving the opposite direction, okay, now this is all his saying now, okay, he has no proof. This is a feelings, okay? The first one to bitch about police enforcing feelings, now yet he wants the police to enforce his feelings, okay? Think about it, okay? Now, again, I say, making accusations that an officer was going the opposite direction, noticed who he was and followed him a few blocks. And I'm sure you guys notice if you've been watching the video, come on, it's a loop. A loop that shows, yes, in the beginning of that loop, the officer coming the opposite direction and making a U-turn. But again, it just shows him going a few blocks, and that's it. Okay? It doesn't show, if he does, he sure as hell doesn't want to show where he lives at, but he's making accusations that the officer followed him to his home. Okay? Yet, there's no proof. Again, we all know Reyes likes to make accusations with nothing backing it up. Okay? So, again, read the... listen, I'll put a link to the video in the description. Reading his comments, clicking on the video and reading the comments, you're not giving them no views, no credit. So check out what the people, we already know the people that support these fools, their way of their mentality is they hate government, they hate police and so on. Okay? But it is shocking that somebody can make a video of a conversation, and let me just say that the officer in internal affairs, to me, didn't sound biased. At the very end, I didn't show, you know how like Reyes likes to put his final thoughts or whatever. I didn't put that shit up there, because all he does, the officer that I was speaking to on the phone was very unprofessional, okay? He didn't, again, bad-mouthing law enforcement, making it seem because the officer did not bow down. That's the biggest thing right there. The officer not bowing down to him and saying, yeah, you're right, Mr. Reyes, that sounds like the officer was trying to intimidate you and harass you. Come on now, man. Granted that he has stirred up so much shit, and that's something he should have thought about before doing it. I'm not saying, listen, if I feel my local police department is corrupt, so be it. I'm going to do what I got to do. But I'm also going to take into consideration the fault, you know, the shit that's going to come back on me for doing it. And if I so choose to do it, expose, which I would, okay, then come on, me driving down the road and an officer realize, oh, there goes Steven driving down the road, let's spin around and see if he breaks the law so we can give him a citation. Last thing I'm going to do is call internal affairs bitching and moaning that, hey, they followed me. They followed me to my home, tried to intimidate and harass me. Come on now. Let me know your thoughts on the video, guys. Hey, and I'll see you guys in the next one, damn it.
I got it. I remember. You're the expert on the Constitution. So do me a favor. Send me the video.
You're really being you're not being cooperative with me at all. You're trying because you're trying to fight with me and escalate the situation. You're trying to argue. Oh, there's millions of reporters. You're being smart, sir. And as a public servant, I don't think that's acceptable.
Mr. Reyes, you have identified zero misconduct.
But that's zero misconduct to a corrupt internal affairs investigator, sir.
So then why do you want to?
Because I need this on. I need, sir. I have. Sir, I have to follow.
You can't get a straight investigation.
Well, sir, I guess am I just supposed to accept the fact that you're corrupt, or am I supposed to just?
I'm trying to give you straight answers here, but you don't.
But you're not, sir. You're trying to engage with me and trying. Sir, all I'm saying is that it's very simple, sir. As a taxpayer, as a property owner here in Suffolk County, I pay taxes to the Suffolk County Police Department. I've had an unfortunate history with the Suffolk County Police Department, and I've reported on corruption in the Suffolk County Police Department. Now the Suffolk County Police Department know what kind of car I drive, and they know where I live. They've been to my house before.
You're speaking collectively.
They've been to, especially the 6th Precinct, because I live within the 6th Precinct jurisdiction, sir. So the 6th Precinct officer turned around to follow my car, knowing who I was, and followed me all the way back to my house, and I think that is harassment and intimidation by the Suffolk County Police Department. Again, you might not think that, sir, But I think that, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that see the video of him following me around for no reason. There was no traffic infraction. Again, that's something you can investigate, sir. But at the end of the day, for you to just dismiss my claims as, oh, he did nothing wrong without, an investigation, it's insane.
I didn't say he did nothing wrong. I said you've identified nothing that he did wrong. There's nothing
That's
you've
literally
alleged,
the same
nothing
thing.
you described rises to the level of misconduct.
Well,
Zero.
To you,
it's not even a gray area.
So you don't think that a police department intimidating a journalist for her reporting on them they think that's okay? Because that's what it looks like to me. Again, I don't know. It could have been an officer that I've written a personal complaint against. It could have been, just a coincidence. I don't know. Could this person have some type of vendetta towards me? I don't know. I don't even know who they are at this moment. And neither do you, sir. And that's the point. You don't even know who this individual is, and you're dismissing it as, well, he's allowed to follow people to their home.
It's not dismissing.
So would it be concerning to you? Would it be concerning to you, Lieutenant, if I followed you home? It's not illegal, right? You said it's not illegal. You said it's nothing illegal, to follow somebody home, Mr. Reyes. You bring up public spaces all the time, Mr. Reyes. You're home driving home. That's public information, and I could follow you. Would you think that's concerning behavior, Lieutenant?
That's not what I said at all. You're twisting my words. I'm sure you have it recorded. You can go back and listen, as will I. That's not what I said at all.
Well, you're saying that there's no misconduct and there's nothing to investigate.
You described no misconduct.
So okay, so there would be nothing concerning to you if anyone were to follow you to your home, police officer or not. It wouldn't be discerning.
Concern doesn't mean misconduct.
I'm not a government entity. So all I'm doing as a taxpayer, sir, is I'm calling. I think I've been very cordial with you. I'm not trying to. Again, internal affairs. Me saying internal affairs corrupt is not a personal thing against you. I don't know if you're a part of the corruption or not. I don't know when you've been. I don't know you. So all I'm saying is that internal affairs in Suffolk County has been proven to be corrupt and cover up things in the past through investigative reports. And I'm just saying that all I'm doing is I'm concerned that this person had ill intent towards me and was trying to intimidate me. So I don't understand you could just take down the information and then investigate it.
So how about this? Send me the video like you said. I'll review the video and I'll follow up with you. Is that fair?
Fair, very fair. All right, no problem. So you have my contact information? That's correct.
All right. So
where do I send?
Email it.